Hello. Hello, everyone. And of course, by everyone, I mean those of you that are here at the moment. How are you all doing today? As we are here on a Wednesday night for tonight's episode of Survivor. That is the plan. That is currently the plan. Ro, thank you for the 34th honey with also 34. Wow, look at the two of you. Hurricaning over here, yeah. Hope it's not too scary down there. I guess Florida isn't really that much down from here, is it? I guess. Yeah, it's still pretty down. Yes, thank you for the 10th. Editor 28th. Sworn, thank you for the 13th. Yeah, it's, listen. Last week happened. Not much we can do about it. But the season moves on. The show moves on. And I expect Rome will get some comeuppance at some point. I do expect that. I feel like he has a little bit of that villain at it. I don't think it's just that we're rooting for Asia. I think it was a real, actual little bit of a villain at it. I did see the Rubina campaign, which was more of a like, MJ, you can still win votes campaign, but not against Chelsea. Psychal, thank you for the 62nd. Very much loving every single Kellis plushie post. I'm looking at all of them. I enjoy every single one. Please keep sending them to me. I love them. Gary, think of the 5th. The plushie is soft. You might say it's plush. How's House of Villains been? Oh, let me run a prediction here. Commercial by 5:14. So you think the 13th, by the way? Oh, is it the first episode tonight? Oh, it starts tonight. Okay, okay. How has anyone watched Traders Canada? I still haven't had a chance to, but I really want to for Netta. It's stupid traders. I don't even like the show, but they keep casting people I want to watch. It's been good. Does anybody who doesn't like the traders a little bit, like me, have thoughts on Traders Canada? Because I'm realizing I'm asking people that are already watching it and therefore already inclined to like it. Daisy, think of the third. Oh yes, new summit tonight as well. Stay tuned for our coverage of the summit. Oh, and we're live.
I am engaged. Babe, if you're watching this, I am not in a relationship with Sierra on Survivor.
That's where we are. Why don't I like traders? It's just not a good game. I'd barely call it a game, to be honest. And they waste too much time on challenges. There's some good moments. Like, there's good nuggets in it. It's just too much other stuff. This is perhaps the last we'll see of Asia on the season. I don't like it. I like seeing Asia on this season. I don't want to stop. Teeny. Did we? I don't think we saw that confessional by them last time, right? My alliance is voting for Asia, but I can't bring myself to do it. We know who Rome is. Oh, Teeny admits it. Oh. Yeah, if you listen to the jet lag interview, Adam said that Rome to him sounds exactly like David Diggs. And it's pretty accurate. Dia, thank you for the 29th in a row. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of feeling the teeny winner edit. Avery, thank you for the third. Like maybe it's a little early for it, but like it's a strong edit, I feel. I felt it from like episode 1. And it's only gotten better. We're really doing another metaphor, Sam? Wow, Chad. Chat is feeling Andy right now. The breadwinners. I'm not mad at it. Listen, I think Survivor should have more named alliances. I think named alliances are great for the show and also a good strategy at times. Wow, pretty shot. I wanted to play with a Sue. This is genuinely no judgment. I'm curious. for the chat. Do you think about potential friendships, relationships, allies in terms of like, I get along well with, like, say, older moms, or I don't know, surfer bro, like archetypes? Do you think of? Because I don't, but I feel like we see this a decent amount preseason. Here's the thing about people lying about their age. I feel like I've said this before. Oh wow, look at that. If Sue tells me she's 45, you'd best believe I'm just saying, wow. And that's it. Nothing to her face, nothing in confessional, no wink to the camera. That's it. I'm just saying, wow. Because, listen, there's a worst case scenario. In the worst case scenario, she actually is 45. And if she actually is 45, there's no shot I'm going to be that guy that's like, no way are you 45. Like, if I need to look gullible, that's fine. I'm down. This is kind of funny, actually. So she literally covered it. So she finds this thing. It splatters on the ground. Now she has this, like, evidence. Fully powered? Wait, hold on. Has this tribe found an idol already? Gabe found one. And he used it and they replaced it. Okay. You have paint everywhere. Man. Guys, Sue could commit murder and get away with it. Oh my god, she literally has paint on her chin. Oh my god. And it's still on her hands. Never mind. She would not get away with murder. But she cleaned up the she cleaned up like the big splatter though, right? So like there's not a ton of evidence, But yeah, she definitely got caught a little bit there. There was not a commercial by 514. Next prediction. All right, how about this one? Does anybody say Asia in the next segment? I will accept any form of Asia as long as they're referring to Asia. Jeff counts. I'm sorry, Domino's. That mac and cheese looked awful. If that's the best it can look via commercial, then I don't know what to tell you. You tried it. It's not very good. I mean, I feel like I could have told you. But look, you know what that mac and cheese looked like? That looked like mac and cheese they would serve it on Survivor. Listen, you show me some good mac and cheese, you'll get my tummy rumbling. Maybe it's not the most aesthetic food in the world, but mm-mm. It's so obviously Sue left her hands with Red, but like what was funny about that situation is that the spot she missed that was the more obvious one was on her chin. And you take it for granted, but like she has no mirror, you know? There's no way for you to see your own chin without a mirror. We're back. Megan, thank you for the 26th in a row. I really want Saul to find the idol. Please. It would be so good if Saul found it, because that was like the reason that they would have voted Saul out, was because he was going to be better at finding the idols. Rome. Rome, that's the stuff you don't say out loud. Can we get anything from Genevieve, please? Like, at this point, it feels targeted. I know she said I said that because she said she was the babysitter. I was like hoping for an actual confessional. I was hoping that would like kick off to like a package. Teeny. Here we go. Here's Genevieve. Confessional. They have waited to give Genevieve content until she could say something negative about Rome. They are protecting her. I can only make the case for Rome so many times, she says. In episode 4, we haven't heard it once. Why? Because they want her to be likable and they want Rome to be not likable. Is that supposed to be him napping? Just imagine the world where this is Andy's winner edit, though. Please. She tells him the name? He immediately tells Sam. These people are a mess. They claim it's Andy. It's all three of them. They're all three a mess. Sierra shouldn't have told Andy the name. Andy shouldn't have told Sam the name. Sam shouldn't have told Sierra that Andy told him the name. It's so in her head. The fact that she was like, we're bickering like an old married couple, it's so in her head that people think they're a couple. B, thank you, the 15th in a row. That is a no. I did not hear any Asia. Next prediction. What if the prediction is... Does anybody say blood? Does anybody say blood in the next prediction? I will count bloody. I will count blood. I will not count red. I can't think of any of the blood. Unless somebody's going to say bloods. I think bloody and blood is what I will count. Bleed. I'll count bleed. I think as long as they're referring to blood, I'll count it. Bloodline will not count. Bleeding is good. Bleeding, bleed, bloody, blood. Obviously, we know what we're looking for. We're looking for like a reference to Sue's blood. If somebody says you've got red on you, doesn't count. So I have to imagine that move to tell Andy the name of the alliance probably is one of those situations where just like, this happens all the time, but like, if you just ask a straight up question to somebody that they're not expecting you to ask, sometimes you can just get an actual answer out of them. And I think that might have been the case there. She just wasn't prepared to answer about like how specific it got. Like, did they say we're the three? Like, yeah. And then just overshared. Miguel, thank you for the 3rd month. The fallacious strategy, exactly. It's something you have to be prepared for if you ever go on a show like this. If you plan to keep information to yourself, you need to prepare what am I going to answer if I'm asked a direct question about something like this. Just like you have to prepare when you're in the middle, like when you're having a strategy conversation in the Big Brother house and you have to be like, what are we talking about if somebody comes in? You have to have a similar thing for like, what is my answer to the question, did you make a final two with this person? Or like, are you in any alliances? Right? Because if somebody asks like, are you in any alliances? If you're lying, your immediate answer is no, which feels super fake. So in the moment, sometimes you think, oh, well, maybe I should not say no because people won't believe me if I say no. We're back, by the way. Mindy, thank you for the 60-second. And it's a challenge. I was not expecting a challenge. We could refund so we can do a challenge prediction. How do people feel about that? Paul, thank you for the 9th. Yeah, I'm seeing plenty of refunds. Obviously, it's unlikely they'll say blood, but I can't. If we want to do a challenge prediction, I can't just assume. All right, prediction. Which tribe comes in second place? Red, yellow, blue. This is a really early immunity, right? You know what? I was so busy with the prediction I didn't even see Andy's response to Asia being voted out. Four leaf thing for the 16th. Six eggs for like 4 to 5 people is so rough. Five people. 6 eggs, 5 people. That's just over an egg a person. That's as so unfortunate. Certainly better than worms. Certainly better than a beer. How do you split the 6th egg is a great question. You know what? I'm realizing they don't have a scale out there. Mix the egg into the rice is definitely the call. If I want eggs on Survivor, I would definitely scramble. Yeah, I would definitely scramble. Not only is it the easiest thing to do with limited, cookware, but it would feel like the most amount of food, I think. Rice without salt is terrible? Wait, what?
Whew. I kind of like that they have to build the frame and then throw it through. That's kind of fun. So we're rooting for red to lose, I think. But they just nailed it. Obviously, it feels like yellow goes to tribal. They've spent so much time with yellow in this particular dynamic, and then in particular this episode, it just feels... This one feels like a really obvious yellow. Well, my hope would be that Saul finds an idol, right? Like, all we've seen so far is, for blue, the blood stuff, and for red, the idol hunt stuff. Whereas yellow, there's like a dilemma already built in. Forgotta. Wow, Red is struggling. All right, listen, I'll take it back. I don't know how Red comes back from this. I mean, the first couple pieces are the hardest. I don't know exactly what the strategy is here, but like it looks to me like he's just randomly taking pieces and then trying every conceivable configuration. I think you need to look at the graphic. I mean, this is just straight over, right? Yellow's not going to tribal. It is going to be red. It looks like they are just trying random pieces. This, I agree with Jeff on this one. They have not changed their clearly losing strategy. So that's blue second place, right? As if it never happened. Blue in second place. Three egg-laying hens. So, okay. This changes things about Genevieve a little bit. Because now Genevieve having that confessional makes more sense as a lead up into the dilemma of can they flip Genevieve? Andy linking up with Teeny is such a mistake by Yellow. In the words of a legend, big mistake. More Genevieve. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, I think, now why they're showing Genevieve. Jeff. No, not Jeff saying I could have done this. I mean, you've gotta clearly Jeff doesn't know the ins and outs of advertising, because if he knew how people advertise mobile games, he'd know that you're not supposed to actually solve it. You're supposed to show it be really obvious and then the player not get it right, so that you're like, no, it's so obvious, you do it this way, so that you click on it and you want to do it yourself. Okay, here's the next prediction. We're actually going to run back. Does anybody say Asia? Because I'm curious to know if Andy and Teeny talk about Asia at all. It's possible you don't even get the journey yet, but I'm still going to run it back. I'm still going to say Asia. But yeah, so basically what I think is happening here is they're showing Genevieve not because they were protecting her like I was hoping, but because she is now the swing here. With Rome having a steal a vote, planning to steal Saul's vote, him and Genevieve would have 3 guaranteed votes against Teeny and Kishan's 2. So if they want to vote out Rome, they need to flip Genevieve against him. And so they showed us that confessional from her being like, oh, even she's sick of him. Can they flip her? Wait, it's Manu Bennett. The summit. Watch the summit. Don't get the bag, Jeff. Don't get the bag. You don't know what's in that bag, Jeff. Don't open the bag. He opened the bag. I told you, Jeff. I told you not to open the bag. Manu Bennett hosts the summit. You should. Okay, the summit is after this. You should watch the summit episode 2. We're back, by the way. I'm not streaming it, but I am podcasting it with Chappelle. Does anybody know how often do chickens lay eggs? Generally. Once a day. 1 egg per day? One egg per day. 3 chickens means 3 eggs per day. 7 days, 21 eggs. Versus 1 chicken's worth of meat. I think it is probably better to keep the eggs. That's true. It would be all 3 chickens worth of meat. How many chickens do eggs eat naturally? It's a sad fact that humans expect too many eggs from their chickens. In the wild, a chicken may only lay 10 to 12 eggs annually, so like once a month. Which tracks. Chickens who are bred to lay eggs or used to being domesticated lay more. The exact amount depends on the chicken herself. Some chickens lay between 120 260 eggs a year. Egg-laying hybrid breeds lay 300. Interesting. Was I wrong? Is Genevieve the decoy boot and or the actual boot? And that's why we brought her in? If you... Why would he need to give him the shot in the dark? 1v, thank you for the 8th. Is this real life? Remember what I said about villain edit? Especially of Rome's size. An ultimatum is not a threat. Please tell me that is the title of this episode. Here we go. The title is that blood in your hair? That's not even a... I mean, that's fine as a title, but I feel like an ultimatum is not a threat. Is stronger. Okay, I was right. We are doing the Genevieve swing vote edit. Ironically, Keyshawn's approach here is the classic way of getting somebody to not play their shot in the dark. Like, it is the more effective way. Saul now not nearly as likely to play his shot in the dark. Okay. Prediction was a no. We're gonna run it back one more time for the journey, which is surely going to be in the next segment. Do they say Asia in the next segment? I think specifically I'm looking for Teeny and Andy to mention Asia. Because I think that Andy will obviously be reaching for allies. I don't know if Andy knows Teeny. I don't know if Teeny knows Andy. But if either of them know the other, or even if Andy doesn't know Teeny, he still might ask what happened to Asia. And if he figures out that they're both fans, it's obviously a huge connection to make. Like, basically, if I'm Andy and I have any inclination that somebody else might know who Asia was, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm like, so what happened with Asia? Just throwing out a line, you know? I think it was a group decision to choose Teeny, but who knows? I don't think we really saw. Why is there a Modern Family commercial happening right now? Hasn't that show been off the air for like 5 years? Pretty close, 2020. I know it's a commercial for something else. It's just like, what? Why Modern Family? Wait, is this show called Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage? For real? Okay, I didn't watch the whole thing. Can somebody explain to me? Is this is this a spin-off of The Parents of Sheldon? No way. They're still going backwards in time? That's so wild. When it says their first marriage, does it mean they got married multiple times to the same people? Or is this like his mom and some random dude? Oh, it's his brother. Oh, so they're not going backwards into. I was actually interested for a moment that they were going backwards down the bloodline. Come Find Me at the Merge is interesting. That implies to me that he makes the merge. Okay. Teeny, you need your vote. Teen, you had such a good argument to make, which is I'm going to tribal tonight. I know I need my vote. I feel like this is the thing. I feel like Carolyn. I felt like Carolyn was gonna crack at the rock draw. I feel like Carolyn could have cracked here. Nobody's trying to crack her. The amulet idol. The cursed amulet advantage. Listen, I know Andy's having a rough time at times in this game, but just look at him in that confessional and see how good a time he's having as he's talking about like the dilemma that he's currently facing. He's like, I mean, it could be a potential for warfare. That's a no on the Asia. Andy and Teeny did not seem to connect. Next prediction. Okay, hear me out. This is going to be a wild one. Does Saul give up his shot in the dark? That's my prediction. My logic is knowing that Teeny has lost their vote. They now, if they want to be able to vote out Rome, need Rome to not steal Saul's vote. If Saul feels comfortable enough with Keyshawn, Genevieve, and Teeny that they will vote the way that they are saying they will, or Teeny certainly couldn't, theoretically, you could get Saul to then go along with Rome's plan, give him the shot in the dark so that he doesn't use his steal vote. Oh yeah, you know what? I always forget about this. I think that might be true. The steal a vote doesn't work on the revote. I think I've heard this. Have we ever actually seen it play out though? For the record, I think it's stupid that you can't revote with your stolen vote. We're back. Immediately open to having lost the vote. Carolyn sharing the amulet. Andy sharing the amulet. They don't need their vote. Well, that was easy. Genevieve's energy there was incredible. That was all quiche. We just came up with the plan. It was amazing. Here we go. Genevieve the swing vote. That was incredible. She's actually so right, though. Does Teeny know about it? He does sound like David Diggs. He really does. Can't you get... Wait, hold on. You can get Keyshawn out, no? Okay. If I'm understanding this correctly, first of all, prediction is a no. That I was nowhere close. Second, we're going to go. Who does Rome use the steal a vote on? The options are Saul, Keyshawn, someone else, or nobody. That is the prediction. So, my understanding is Genevieve would like to get out Keyshawn. What I was confused about was you should be able to get out Keyshawn with the steal a vote without the support of Saul. Which is why I was wondering, like, why is she going to Saul, trying to get Saul to get on board with taking out Keyshawn? She can do it without Saul's vote. They just have to steal Keyshawn's vote, and then that's 3 votes on Keyshawn and 1 vote on Rome. It sounds like the issue is that Rome is not willing to vote out Keyshawn and will vote out Saul. So what she's trying to do is get Saul to vote Keyshawn with her so that it would be... But the problem with that is, isn't Rome stealing Saul's vote anyway? Like, if Rome wants Saul out, he plans to steal Saul's vote to do that, then it doesn't matter if you flip Saul, because Saul doesn't have a vote anyway. The fact is, without Rome's support, you cannot get out Keyshawn, even if you do flip Saul. And Rome has to be planning to use the steal a vote if he thinks he's going to be able to get Saul out, because he knows that otherwise it's just a draw. It's just 2-2. It's just 2 votes on him, 2 votes on Saul. So he has to be planning to use the steal a vote. If he plans to take out Saul, he's obviously going to use the steal a vote on Saul. So I still don't understand this pitch to Saul personally. I don't get how it makes any sense. I mean, it makes sense in the sense that, like, I'm trying to make this move and I want you to be on board with it. But, like, even if he made the move, it still doesn't work. So I don't get it. If Rome wants Saul, it's Saul. Unless Genevieve backs out again and just takes out Rome. Basically, what Saul is pitching to her is, can we please just go with the previous plan and vote out Rome, and then it will be you and me against Keyshawn and Teeny. But I don't think Genevieve can risk that. I don't think she can. It's just too easy for Saul to be able to be like, well, Keyshawn is the one that saved me. We're back. Really interesting stuff from Genevieve, who really came out of nowhere in this episode. It would have been so easy for her to just go with the flow. To flip around and make a play like this, I think is really, really interesting, especially because it's not super likely that it backfires specifically on her right now. But the thing is, it's only really valuable if you can influence Rome. Because the fact if Rome is just saying straight up, I'm not willing to go in your direction. I'm voting, even though you just gave up everything to me. I'm still voting Saul for sure. Then it's maybe not worth risking your game. Maybe you do just vote Rome out and hope that you don't go back to tribal and that you go to the merge with 4 people in a spot where you can flip. Or just ride it out and make a move later. Is Jeff backing up Rome here? It's not that unusual a request. It's an ultimatum, not a threat. I'm telling you, should have been the title of the episode. You're a threat. Can we be clear about this? It's a threat, right? The threat is I will play my steal a vote on you if you don't do what I want. An ultimatum is like, in my eyes, more like I can't work with you if you're going to be doing this thing. A threat is more like I am going to do this thing to you if you don't do this thing for me. Yeah, like an ultimatum to me is more like the threat of an ultimatum is I will walk away. The threat of a threat is like I will do something to you. Oh man. I am a real person. He steals Keyshawn's vote. Oh, and Keyshawn is worried. Rightfully so. This looks like a move on Keyshawn. Teeny looks straight at Genevieve. Oh, Keyshawn looks devastated. I mean, I know this isn't like Asia vindication in terms of getting Rome out, but if Keyshawn leaves here, it kind of is Asia vindication in the sense that, like, would have been real nice if you'd voted out Genevieve last week, wouldn't it have? Was that... Am I the only one that just heard tinkly music? Was that somewhere else on my computer? Or was that the Matlock commercial? I can't see your answers because I'm covering the chat because I don't want to be spoiled in the vote, but, like, that was weird. Okay. The play is to get Saul on board to vote out Keyshawn so that they have a majority for the next vote. It's that simple. It wasn't that she couldn't make it happen without Saul. It was that you're trying to get Saul on board, right? I think that's all it was. I'm assuming this vote is Keyshawn, given that he just played the steal a vote on Keyshawn. Already 2 votes Keyshawn. That's a done deal. What a play. Wow. Did they got Saul's vote? That was unanimous. Genevieve. Oh. Trinity, thank you for the 14th. Happy that you love your Callus plushie. Robbie, thank you for the 50th. Power play indeed. Why? I'll tell you later. Wow, what a bookend to the episode 2. The episode starts with Teeny having to explain themselves about their vote and ends with Teeny asking somebody to explain themselves about their vote and then being like, I'll tell you later. Wow. I really do genuinely think there was no greater a vindication of the Asia boot than that. It could have been specifically Genevieve. Peyton, thank you for the 25th. It specifically could have been Genevieve, that tribal. And they instead decided to go with Asia. And clearly, when I say they, clearly it was more Keyshawn. Teeny didn't want it. And Keyshawn clearly chose to go with Genevieve. And it quite alarmingly and quickly bit him. Whoo. I'm going to take a little bit too much pleasure out of that. I apologize to Keyshawn. Normally I wouldn't. Normally I'd be a little more chill, but I'm just gonna let a little bit of that seep in. I'm gonna enjoy this a little more than I normally would. Steal a vote was used on Keyshawn. I think that's gonna be a pretty decent result there. Honestly, I would consider streaming the summit if it wasn't 90 minutes after a 90-minute Survivor episode. That 3 hours is just too much. All right, we're back. Survivor twist. Maybe in the future when Big Brother's over and I've got a little more mental headspace. I will say I do recommend watching this episode of The Summit. I think this is an episode worth watching. If you're at all interested. But yeah, man, what an episode. Basically, the premise of the summit is that they are on a journey to the top of this mountain and they have to vote each other out at checkpoints. But there are also moments in between where they do little challenges where sometimes people get eliminated. As you saw in that preview, in this episode, they're told you have to cut the bridge down while someone's still on it. Which, sounds like it might be fun. Anyway, should have kept Asia. That's what I got to say about that episode. That was a good episode, I will say. That was a good episode of Survivor. And genuinely not specifically because of the vindication, but because genuinely, like, it surprised me with which tribe went to tribal. There was good content in between. And that vote was just a good one. I mean, the flip on Rome was exciting, but then to see Genevieve turn it around on Keyshawn was so unexpected. It was just, yeah, I mean, it was just a solid episode. Probably the best one of the season so far, which, listen, you might say you're being biased by saying this is a good episode because of the vindication for Asia. But think about it. Think about it real hard. I'm saying that the best episode of the season so far is the first one without Asia. Hopefully that says enough. You know what I mean? Not that it's saying something about Asia, but what it's saying is that, like, I think genuinely the storytelling and the content of this episode was better than the previous ones. The best episode will be the downfall of Rome. Listen, there's plenty of shows that cover that. Man, what if like everyone that voted out Asia goes out back to back to back, and there's like an Asia curse? That'd be wild. And then Teeny escapes it because they didn't vote Asia. Hear me out. It's Survivor 47 Final Destination. All right. Anyway, good times. Thanks for joining me here watching Survivor tonight. If you listen, if you're looking for opinions on the Rubina MJ conversation, I have the update tomorrow. If I tell you now, I have nothing left for the update. So tune in for the update tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, eviction, podcast, all that good stuff. All right. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see all of you tomorrow.